Hello! I wanted to thank you so much for volunteering to teach one of the youth ministry classes. That means so much to me, and it means so much to the teens. And realize that you're not just teaching a teen class, but this is a great chance for you to pour your life into these teenagers, for you to connect with them on a relational level, and for you to be able to minister to them not just in the classroom but also outside of the classroom. And so I thank you for that. I know that your time is precious, and for you to spend time to work on these lessons and to teach the teens, that means a lot to me. So thank you. A couple of things I wanted to tell you about these lessons really quickly, just to make sure you know exactly what's going on. First of all, I want you to know that each lesson should have a main point at the top. It should say like big idea or main point. It's really important when you teach your lesson to try to cover that main point, and everything you talk about lead back up to that main point. Teenagers aren't good at memorizing the 15 points of this or the 10 ways you can do this, but they can remember one point. And so that's what each lesson is all about. So every illustration, every example, every scripture should be leading them back up to that main point. And also it's really important because when I not only do I send you the lesson, but I send summaries of the lessons to the parents, and I give them questions to ask each week based on the lesson that you're supposed to cover. And so you need to cover that lesson because the parents are going to be asking teens questions based on the material you were supposed to cover. So it's important that you cover that big idea, that you don't just go, oh, we're talking about Jesus in general, and this is a big idea. I don't like that. I want to talk about something else about the life of Jesus. Well, then parents are going to be asking their teens questions about the lesson, and kids are going to go, I don't know what you're talking about. This is not what we talked about, and this is just going to cause confusion and won't be good. So please try to stick to that big idea and reinforce that big idea as much as you can throughout the lesson. And then secondly, I realize that you're going to be covering some big issues like temptation or evangelism or salvation, and you might only have 2 or 3 weeks to cover this big topic, and you think, I can't cover all the material in this much time. I need 7, 8, 9 weeks to do it. But what's really important to know is that we're not trying to, when we talk about these lessons, say we're talking about evangelism, we're not trying to cover every single aspect of evangelism in those 3 weeks. We're just covering one small aspect of evangelism, and then in 2, 3, 4 quarters, we'll probably talk about evangelism again. And then in 3 more quarters, we'll talk about evangelism again. So instead of taking one topic and covering every aspect of it and not covering it again for another 3 years, instead we take the same amount of topics and we only talk about it for 2, 3 weeks, and then we rotate through them and talk about them every single year or every 2 years. And so you get the same topics being reminded to the teens over and over again. And so I think this is the way we've decided to do it, and I think it's a better way to do it. And so if a lesson is only 3 weeks long, you really need to teach it in those 3 weeks and stick to those big ideas, those main points that we have. And let's not draw that 3-week lesson out into 6 weeks or something like that, because that's not what we're doing. So thank you so much. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.